Hello and welcome to Lockdown Yoga on Monday. A very sunny, beautiful, warm Monday it is too. Hope you're all good. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, throughout the practice, listen to your body, work with your own body, and only do what feels right for you at the time. Some days we feel more like moving into poses than others, so just work with your body today. Let's start by lying down. So lying out nice and straight. You can have your knees bent if you prefer. But let's just start to come into the moment. Just starting to bring our attention to our breath as we breathe in through our nose, into our belly, and out through our nose. And just beginning to tune into our senses, tuning into our sense of hearing, just noticing the sounds around us, near and far. Just spending time with them in this present moment. And moving on to our sense of smell. Noticing the smells around you. And if you can't identify any smells or notice any smells, our imagination for our smells is really, really good. So imagine the smell of your favorite flower and allow that scent to fill you. And moving on to our sense of sight, noticing that screen at the back of our eyelids. Just spending a little time observing what it serves to us. Through our senses to our sense of touch, noticing our connection points with the mat. The texture of our clothes, the temperature of our skin. And allowing that attention now to move fully to the breath, right into our center. That attention to the breath is so powerful. A great tool to have with you for the day. When If we're feeling concerned about the future or troubled about the past, we can't control those things, but we can control what our mind is doing in the present. We can keep our mind focused on the present, focused on the breath, focused on the movement. So staying in the present with all of our focus on our breath. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, just bending the knees, bringing the feet to the floor, rolling over onto your side to come up to sitting. And if you have a block or a book, now's a good time to get it. And let's come to a nice seated position. Sitting up tall, equal weight on both seat bones, shoulders over hips. And thinking as you inhale of finding that space in your spine, opening up your body. And as you exhale, relaxing into that space you've created. And let's take our left hand, putting it just a little bit behind our left hip. We're going to take a twist to the left. So putting your right hand onto your left leg as we twist. And remembering as you inhale to find that length in the spine, and as you exhale to find a little millimeter deeper in the twist. And coming back to center, just allowing our bodies to settle. As we take it over to the right. And remembering we're leading with our chest rather than our head. Our head would like to go way further than our chest. But it's about turning our upper body. Really good for loosening out the spine. And great for those golfers. Allowing your feet to come out in front of you. I'll just turn sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. We're going to continue with this twisting theme. So having the right leg out straight, flexing the foot. Let's take the left foot over across the leg, putting the right hand, elbow, onto the left knee, and let's take a twist here. Again, as we inhale, finding that length, and as we exhale, taking it a little bit deeper. And coming back through center, let's take that over to the other side. And coming back straight. Let's bend this left leg and hold on to the foot of it. And let's begin to just straighten out this foot to the point at which we feel it's enough for us. So it could be here, you want to have your chest coming forward. Remember, we're always leading with our chest, not with our head. It's your chest coming forward that we want. And just allowing that foot to go to whatever length is comfortable for you for a forward fold. Good, let's take 3 more breaths here. Just finding a little bit more of a bend with each breath. And coming back up straight. Let's just take that to the other foot. So bringing that right foot up and allowing it to come forward. So you come all the way into that nice forward fold. And it's okay if your hands are on your calves. That's absolutely fine. Breathing into this forward fold. One more breath here. And coming up tall with both feet flexed. We're going to just take our twist a little bit behind us. So your right hand is coming across, your left hand is going behind you as you bring your face down towards the earth. One more breath here. And making your way back up again. Let's just take that to the other side. As we bend forward to greet the earth. And again, one more breath here. And making your way back up tall again. Let's just open those legs out nice and wide and begin to walk the hands forward here. So we start to feel a stretch on the inside thighs. Again, thinking about reaching your chest towards the floor. And making your way all the way back up again and onto all fours. And just checking your alignment here. So making sure those knees are below your hips, feet are straight out behind you, shoulders are over the wrists. And we'll start with a couple of our cat-cows. Rounding through that spine from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. And then tilting the pelvis. Dipping the belly, opening the chest and looking forward. And on our next exhale, let's round it through. And as we inhale, bringing it into that cow pose where we open our chest and tilt the pelvis. And again, exhaling into cat. And inhaling. Let's take 3 more of these in your own time with your own breath. One final time. And let's meet in neutral spine, gazing towards the floor. So our spine is straight all the way from our tailbone right the way up to the crown of our head. We're going to step back that right leg, pushing out through the heel, and lift the foot up to hip level, or the leg up, apologies, to hip level with your foot pointing down towards the ground. And once you've got your balance here, opening those fingers out nice and wide on the right hand, let's stretch the left hand forward. And really beginning to feel that connection from the right toes through to the left fingers. Thinking about pulling everything into the center, engaging that core to help you find your balance here in this pose. 2 more breaths. And slowly, with control, coming back to center. And let's take that over to the other side. So stretching out that left leg. Lifting the leg up to hip level. Left toes pointing down towards the ground, stretching out that right arm. Keeping the gaze looking at the ground in front of you. And really feeling that diagonal connection across your body. Engaging the core on the exhale, lifting the pelvic floor, bringing that belly button in and up. 3 more breaths here. If you feel any tension, tightness anywhere, think about directing your breath into that area. And bringing the hand down and the leg down, just pushing back into a child's pose. And remember, any time throughout the practice, you can always come into this pose to rest. Making your way back up again. We're going to come to kneel down, sitting on our heels. If that's difficult for you, you can be right. And we're going to raise the arms up. And from here, come forward into our tabletop position. Curling those toes, we're going to push ourselves up into our first dog. So pushing your hips back and just begin to pedal those legs, those feet, keeping the knees nice and bent to start with. Easing into the pose, trying to find that length in the spine till you come to stillness. And from here, making your way back down into tabletop, sitting back onto your heels and raising those arms up. And raising the gaze with the arms. Let's come forward onto all fours once again, curling those toes, pushing the hips back. We come up into our dog. And trying to find stillness here, reaching those heels towards the earth. And bending the knees, coming back down into your tabletop, opening out the feet, sitting back on your heels and raising the arms up. And coming forward into tabletop, pushing up through your dog. Good. We're going to run through that flow just one more time. So coming back down into your tabletop and pushing back onto your heels, raising those arms up and forward into tabletop and up into your dog. Good. And then let's take our right
hand and bring it to our left foot. And just gaze through under your arm as we hold this here for 3 breaths. Remembering to engage that core on the exhale, bringing the right hand back to where it belongs and switching over to the left side. Again, breathing into any areas of tightness or tension. One more breath. And bringing the hand back. And let's just walk the feet forward to the front of the mat. And make our way all the way up to standing. And from here, having equal weight on both feet, standing up tall, feet hip distance apart. Thinking about lifting the knees, engaging the quads, engaging the core. And let's bring the arms up overhead, clasping them together and reaching up tall. Really starting to find that space here. Good, we'll take 3 more breaths here. As we really open out. And allow the arms to come down by your side, coming to the top of the mat if you're not there already. We're going to do a couple of sun salutes to get ourselves going. So bringing the arms out and reaching up tall and coming into your forward fold. And halfway lift, having a nice straight spine here. And forward fold. Let's step that right leg back as far as it can go, dropping the knee, opening out the foot, and reaching the arms up. And hands down either side of the foot, stepping back into your plank, keeping those quads engaged, and having the heels coming straight up over the knees, over the toes. Bring your knees to the floor. Open out the feet, keeping those elbows in, bring the chest down, and roll up into a baby cobra with those elbows in. Pushing up into your tabletop, curling those toes and back up into the dog. And from here, your choice on how you get your right leg up to between your hands. So you can do it, let's do it coming down onto our knees and stepping that right foot forward. And raising the arms up. Hands down, either side of the foot, stepping that back foot up to meet the front and coming all the way up. Good, let's take that over to the other side. Opening the arms up and into our forward fold. And halfway lift. Forward fold, let's step that left leg back as far as it can go. And reaching the arms up. Hands down, either side of the foot, stepping back into your plank. Taking a round of breath here. And bringing the knees, feet, chest, and rolling through to your cobra. Pushing up into tabletop and all the way back up into your dog. Again, your choice on how you get your left leg up to the front, either through coming down onto your knees and stepping it through, or by stepping it straight through. Dropping the right knee down, opening up the right foot, and raising up. Hands down either side of the foot, stepping that back foot up to meet the front, and coming all the way up.
Good, well done. Let's take that on 2 more rounds. So bringing the arms up and forward fold. Let's inhale as we halfway lift. And exhale as we forward fold and step that right leg back. Inhaling as we rise up. And exhale to bring the hands down, step back into your plank. Taking around your breath here. And on your next exhale, bringing your knees to the floor, open out the feet, chest down, and inhale as you rise up into Cobra, keeping that gaze on the mat in front of you. And as we do our next inhale, let's push up into a tabletop. Adjust your position if you need to. And exhale up into your dog. Raising that up, that right leg up. And inhale as we step the right leg through, dropping that knee. Open out the foot. Rising up. And exhale, hands to the floor. Step that left leg up and inhale as we rise up. Really good. And reaching up tall. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold, stepping the left leg back. Open out the foot. Rising up tall. Hands down either side of that foot, stepping back into your plank, taking a round of breath here. And knees, feet, chest, Cobra. Up onto all fours and pushing back into your dog. Left leg up in the air, stepping it forward. And drop that right knee. Rising up. Hands down either side of the foot, stepping the back foot up. And coming all the way up. Well done. Really good. And as we have a little rest, it's time for shout out to Natalie, Nully, Trish, Val, Audrey, Sarah Jane, Nuala, Maria, and others. Well, it's lovely to have you all along. I'm delighted you're here. I hope you're enjoying this session, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of it. So, presumably you are now well rested. Let's stand up and to the long side of the mat and come into a nice wide legged stance. Toes pointing forward, hands on the hips, and we're going to come into a forward fold. So we're going to remember we're bending forward from the hips as we come all the way down, as far down as is comfortable for you. It might be here, you might want to have your knees bent. Whatever way works for you is absolutely fine. Coming down nice and low. And when you're in a nice position, bring your hands behind your back, clasp them, and let them come over the body to just help you get that a little bit extra. Taking 3 more breaths here. Unclasping the hands, bringing them down in front of you. Let's just turn this right foot forward and walk it out a little bit to the edge of the mat, and turn the left foot forward, dropping the knee. So we're back in that position that we're in our sun salute, and the legs are about hip distance apart. And from here, rising up. Let's hold this for 3 breaths. Remembering on that exhale, lift the pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up to just help engage the core.
And bringing the hands down either side of that foot, curling the back toes to raise the knee and come into our runner's pose. So we don't want to be resting on this right leg. You want to be keeping that core engaged, thinking about reaching forward with the crown of your head. One more breath. Allow that back foot to come forward a little bit so you can get the heel on the floor, keeping that front knee bent. We're going to rise up into our warrior one. Remembering in this pose to keep the hips nice and square. That left hip is going to want to be drifting backwards. Think about bringing it forward so that both hips are square. Good, one more breath here. And allowing the arms to come out like an aeroplane as we reach forward. Hovering here. If you're feeling this in your leg, think about directing your breath into that area. Two more breaths. You can do it. Good. Bringing both hands down inside that right foot. Just walk that right foot right over to the edge of the mat. Stepping that left leg back. You can drop the knee. And start to make your way down onto the floor as much as you can. You can allow this foot to come up if you wish. And if you'd like it to be a little bit more of a challenge, you can curl the toes of that left foot and lift the knee up. And if you like to do a bind here, you can take that right hand, bringing it under the right leg and bringing the left hand behind. Taking two more breaths here. Coming out of the bind if you're in it. And allowing that right leg to move back as you come all the way down onto your belly. And let those arms come out nice and straight as you find a nice long stretch with your forehead on the mat. One more breath here. Now let's begin to make our way back up to tabletop. And curling those toes, pushing the hips back to the heels, coming up into your dog and walking up to the top of the mat. As we come up tall again, bringing the arms around onto your hips and turning lengthways onto the mat. Once again, bring those legs nice and wide as we come forward into our forward fold. So you might find you're able to go just a little bit deeper this time now that you've really stretched that right leg. Bringing the hands behind your back as you come a little bit deeper into that forward fold. And ungrasping your hands, bringing your hands onto the floor in front of you. We're going to turn that left foot to the back of the mat. stepping the right foot across so they're hip distance apart, and dropping that right knee.
As we rise all the way up. Coming up nice and tall, good. Finding space in the spine in this pose. One more breath here. And bringing both hands down either side of that foot, lifting up the knee of the right leg. Pushing out through the heel of the right leg, reaching forward with the crown of the head. Keeping your belly and chest away from that left thigh. Two more breaths here. And hopping that back foot forward so that you can put your heel on the floor as you rise up into your warrior one. Bringing that right hip forward. Keeping them nice and square. Softening the shoulders. And beginning now to bring it forward, arms out to the side as we hover over that left leg. Keeping the spine nice and long and straight. Breathing into that space. Good, one more breath here. And bringing both hands down inside that left foot, walking the left foot over to the edge of the mat, stepping the right leg back, bringing the knee to the floor and coming down as low as you can go. So if you can get onto your forearms, great. If you're here, that's absolutely fine. If you can only get one forearm down and the other one won't quite go down, that's fine. Whatever your body says is good for it right now. And lifting up that right knee if you want a little bit more of a challenge. And if you want to come into your bind, hooking through that left leg. Keeping that core engaged in this. Taking two more breaths here. And unraveling if you're in a bind, coming up onto your hands, allowing that right knee to come to the floor, stepping back the left knee, and coming all the way to lie out nice and long and flat. Two more breaths here. And let's bring those hands back so that they're either side of the chest. Elbows back and pointing upwards. And keeping those hands very light on the floor. We're going to just raise our chest up into our cobra. So keeping the gaze on the mat in front of you, engaging that core as you come into this back bend, and lowering the forehead down to the earth again. And as we inhale, lifting up again, taking 3 breaths here, keeping those hands nice and light. And making sure the elbows are back. And lowering the forehead to the floor, bringing those arms out
in front of you once more, and this time, as we rise up, we're going to lift our shoulders and our arms, and see, can we lift our legs as well? And coming all the way down. And let's try that again on the next inhale. And bringing it down. Good. And from here, pushing up into our puppy dog pose. So your hips are over your knees. And you're just allowing those arms to come out nice and long, the forehead onto the floor, so you really get that nice long back that you get in your downward dog without the pressure on your legs. This really helps you to get a sense of that length in the spine. And making your way back onto all fours. Let's just bring that right knee up to the right ankle. Walking that, the right knee up to the right wrist, not the right ankle. Walking that right foot across as we come up to an upright pigeon. If you'd really like to stretch your left quad, you can raise up that left foot. That's optional though. And allowing the leg to come down. Let's just allow the foot to come out straight and come up into a plank. Bringing the knees to the floor, pushing the hips back as we let it stretch out in a hare's pose. I'm just going to turn around this way so I can show you our next pose. So we're coming back up and into our plank once again. But now we're going to take it to side plank. So putting the blade of your right foot onto the floor. Bring your left foot across so it's about halfway up your body. And raise that left hand up. And you can turn your gaze to the left hand if you want. Really lifting up that underside of your body. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge here, you can put your left leg on top of your right leg. Taking 2 more breaths. And now we're going to step that left leg behind and allow the left arm to open out behind us into a really nice, open, wild thing pose. That's what it's called. And bringing that left hand down, making your way back to your plank, bringing the knees to the floor and pushing back into your nice long hare pose. And let's take that over to the other side. So starting off on all fours, bringing that left knee up to the left wrist, walking that left foot across and that right leg back as we sit up into our pigeon. And if you want here to hold on to that right foot
do. Taking 2 more breaths. And allowing that foot down. If it's up, let's make our way towards our plank. And this time, turning onto the blade of that left foot, bringing that right foot into the center here, raising that right arm up. And this is so good for your core because it's using the side of your core, which is always quite a difficult part to engage. And that's what's so great about this pose, is that it gets the 2 sides of your core. Good, and now let's step that right leg back over to the other side, reaching the right arm across. Good. And bringing it all back to your plank. Dropping those knees and pushing back into your hair once more. And from here, we're just going to make our way down to the ground, lying down, keeping those knees bent, feet on the floor. And let's just take that right foot and put it across the left leg, engaging the right foot. And just opening out the hip, thinking about pushing that knee away from the center of your body. One more breath here. And let's take it over to the other side. Really thinking about that knee moving away from you. Breathing into any areas of tension here. So for me, there's a bit of tension just at the hip here. And allowing the foot to come to the floor, hugging the knees into the chest. And then letting those feet come to the floor once again as we push up into a bridge. Thinking about those hips pushing up towards the ceiling. Watch the knees don't go too far apart. That's what they want to do. So keeping those legs nice and straight. In a straight line. And gently lowering down to the earth. And allowing both the knees to fall over to the left, opening out your arms, turning that gaze to the right, and if you have space, straightening those legs out to the side. Two more breaths here. And bending those knees, if they're straight, coming through center to take it over to the other side.
2 more breaths here. And coming back to the center, bringing those arms down by your sides, allowing the legs to come out straight, and turning the palms upwards for our final resting pose, Shavasana. Grab a blankie if you want to. And let's just give ourselves permission here to let go. Letting go your toes, the tops of your feet, the soles of your feet. Letting go your heels and ankles, your shins and calves. Letting go your knees, the fronts of your thighs, your hamstrings, your glutes, your hips and pelvis. Just letting it all go. Letting go your belly, your rib cage, front and back, your chest and shoulder blades, the whole of your body, just letting it go. Letting go your fingers, the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands, your wrists, forearms and elbows, upper arms and armpits, the whole of your arms, just letting it go. Letting go the back of your head, the crown of your head, your forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, jaws, chin, tongue, lips. Just let it all go. And keeping that connection with your breath, staying in this present moment, and knowing that at any time throughout the day you can call on your breath to bring you back into the present moment. And let's take a little moment of gratitude here to our bodies, to ourselves, to all of us for practicing together, to all of those working on the front line during this crisis, and for everything we have to be grateful for in our lives today. I'll be back here on Wednesday at 6. I'd love to see you here. If you have any special requests you'd like me to cover, please message them on the Facebook page. But for now, staying connected to your breath. Just allow yourself to totally let go